Brian and I met, fell in love, got married, and my sex life was great. After I gave birth to my son, which was a C-section, the doctor told me to wait 6 weeks before having sex. So I waited 6 weeks, and that's when I noticed it. I didn't want to talk to anybody at first. I didn't even want to talk to my own mom about it. I went to my OB/GYN, and she did a test on me and couldn't find a yeast infection, but she said, well, I think it is anyways. Over time, it just became worse, and it would wake me up at night. And I was starting to think there was no way it could be a yeast infection. A year later, I went to urgent care, and he ran every test on me. And he said, my OB/GYN doctor told me that you have lichen sclerosus. I went online and looked up what lichen sclerosus was, and I was horrified. There was no cure for this. There was hardly any kind of treatment at all for it. The symptoms for LS are white patches, severe itching, dryness, severe tearing. And after some time, parts start to fuse. When you go to urinate, it feels like razor blades. If I'm sitting on like too hard of a chair, it feels kind of like menstrual cramps. Right now, I am fused. It's like my lip and my clitoris are fused together. My husband, he tried his hardest to comfort me, but it was just really hard. It's really hard. I don't feel like a woman. I don't feel sexy. When I look in the mirror, it's always something different. It's morphed into something I can barely recognize. I feel absolutely hopeless.
Now, about 1 in 60 women will develop vaginal lichen sclerosus, and since it's so often misdiagnosed as eczema or yeast infection, as it was in Jamie's case, it's very difficult to get a good diagnosis, let alone a treatment. You really had kind of given up hope until Jamie met Dr. Nathan Newman, who turned to experimental treatment, stem cell therapy, to find a cure for this debilitating chronic disease.
The first procedure is taking out fat from any body part that you want through a mini liposuction. We're going to take the fat and process it and then inject that back into the area that's affected by the lichen sclerosus. We can also use PRP, platelet-rich plasma, which is taking the blood, spinning it down, and getting the platelets, and they will stimulate this response that we want in a much better way and a much faster way. Our hope is that if this works, you will have remission from the disease.
I'm just waiting for the day that I can just put all this behind me.
I mean, this is an incredible off-label experimental research, but definitely we're hearing so much about stem cell therapy. It is a potentially very exciting area for treatment. But first of all, how are you doing now?
I'm doing fantastic now.
Good, good.
How many treatments did this require? How many sessions?
3.
3 different ones? Mm-hmm. Over how long a period of time?
3 within about 9 months.
That's great.
And how long did it take for you just to feel better, just to not have the problem anymore?
I started feeling better after my second one.
Oh, it's nice.
Lichen or skin conditions that affect the vulva, which is, you know, the outer part of the vagina. The vagina is really the internal part, but the vulva is really all this area down here. You can get any skin condition that you can get other places in your body there, but lichen is actually also really an autoimmune condition. So were you tested for autoimmune, simple blood test, by the way, but when someone tells you you have lichen, it's very important to get simple blood test to see if you also have an autoimmune condition, because about 15% of women can have both. Were you tested?
As a matter of fact, I was.
And
as a matter of fact, I did have a thyroid condition.